What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be upgrading the suspension on the Tundra. Let's get into it. Now, I posted a video, a YouTube short, talking about these new struts I got. I got a pretty good deal on them. Someone, as you can see, there is some surface rust on this particular one. Not sure if that's going to be an issue, but someone bought a Tacoma and they got sold these Tundra struts with their Tacoma, and obviously couldn't use them because they're for a Tacoma, and they sat unused in a box in plastic for a long time. Maybe not a long time, but a while, and then ended up selling them to me, and I got this pair of them. There are 2-inch leveling struts for $175, which is just about half off. It's a little bit like more than half off, or less than half off. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, normal price is about $330 for these things before tax, which obviously I didn't pay tax because I bought them secondhand technically, but they're unused, never been put on. There's no Mars on them, no scratches, and we are going to be putting these on the Tundra today, or at least attempting to. So stick around with me and let's see if we can get this done. Wait, before you get any further in the video, please hit the like button and please consider subscribing. It helps my channel out. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Still haven't yet after like 4 years of recording. So hit that subscribe button and let's get on with the video. Some of the basic tools you're gonna need: some ratchets. You need a 19 millimeter, 7/8, 14 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 12 millimeter wrench. You're gonna need some sockets, 5/16, 22, 19, 12, 14, and you will need a 10. I have no idea where it went, of course. Some extensions for these, a couple screwdrivers, some pliers, a impact if you have one, and obviously you're gonna need a jack, some blocks, some chocks for the back wheels, and gloves. I used gloves a couple times, and jack stands, and a hammer. Let's get to it. Very first step to anything involving like this is making sure you're safe. So I have each wheel behind the Tundra chalked so it cannot roll. The emergency brake is on. I have 2 jack stands on blocks because my jack stands aren't high enough, along with this jack adding some pressure. Now I've completed the other side, so this side is the side we're working on, and that's why the jack is on this side, because I'll be on this side. First step, obviously, too, is you have to jack up the actual front end of the truck. Both sides need to be jacked up and off the ground, so each wheel is free to spin, and that's because you need to have the wheels off the ground in order to release the front sway bar. Okay, these stock lug nuts, at least on mine, are a 22, so get yourself a 22. The tire should just come off, unless you're kind of stuck on there, but these have been taken off not long ago. I rotated them. You're going to want to take this ABS brake sensor wire off, this bracket, sorry, off of your upper control arm. So let's get this thing off. Once it's off, go ahead and put it back into the screw hole that it was in. That way you don't lose it. And make sure, really pay attention to this ABS wire and your brake lines and not stretch them or like over lengthen them. Okay, next you're gonna take these upper strut nuts off. There should be 4, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and you can take them all off. You need a 14 millimeter wrench. It's really the easiest way to access them. And once you loosen them a fair bit away, they're pretty much, you can hand loosen them. Now that the top 4 strut bolts are off, you need to come down here to the sway bar and undo this linkage here. Now, I noticed on the other side that this thread, the threads on this bolt had red thread locker, so I'm using my impact here to try to knock this off of here. and it looks like it may be under some tension, which it shouldn't be because, well, maybe that other tire's not off the ground. Both tires need to be off the ground so there's no tension on this sway bar, but we're gonna try to undo it and see what happens. It came off pretty easy. Because there's no more threads there, I just took a wrench and pushed out on this to kind of get it out, which there may be a lot of tension on this because the other side is not off the ground, which it should be, but these new shocks are so much longer that it's allowing the wheel to travel lower. So I'm gonna have to jack that other side off to get this out of there. Now I'm not quite sure why there was so much tension on this. There definitely was. I mean, I could barely get this dang bolt out of there, and it kind of marred up some of the threads on it. So hopefully it's not too messed up. Okay, next you're gonna want to remove this brake line bracket right here off of this knuckle. And it should just come free. Like all these other things, just put this bolt back so you don't lose it. Okay, next we're going to remove this nut from the tie rod, and there's a cotter pin in here, so you're going to want to bend this cotter pin up. You may need a flathead screwdriver to get underneath it like this. And you probably will need new cotter pins. I'm going to say these are pretty old, and thankfully I have a couple here that I can use. Just kind of wiggle it out, and it should just come out. There she is. Now we need to loosen this tie rod and nut. I don't have the correct size for it. I don't know what size it is, but this is the biggest. I don't have a big enough metric, so 15/16 actually fits on this thing really, really well. It may be the right size. I don't know. Set it off to the side. Okay, next we're gonna take this upper control arm bolt off of here, and there's a cotter pin on here, but it's not really a cotter pin. You kind of just pull this little thing out and it slides out. It kind of hooks into the castle nut there. So reuse this. I mean, you may want a new one, but I don't have any like this, so I'm just gonna reuse it. It is a 19. Now, if your upper control arm doesn't just fall out of here, out of this knuckle, you may need to tap it a little. And it should come free like that. Now, this whole assembly here is loose. Your whole axle, everything here is loose now. So be careful not to overstretch the brake line and ABS brakes, wire. But now your knuckle is free from your control arm, and I believe the next step is taking off the bottom strut bolt. Okay, so we're at the bottom strut bolt right now, and it's a 22 millimeter socket on my impact. I'm gonna do on the other side. It goes all the way through the control arm here, the bottom control arm or lower control arm. And I don't have a 22-inch wrench, so I'm gonna use this 7/8 right here. It's good enough. And I'm going to hold it while I zip off the nut on the other side. The nut is off. There's the nut. And I'm just gonna give the bolt a couple good taps, and it should come out. Wiggle it out, and your strut is now free. Actually, make sure to put this bolt, the nut on your bolt before you tap it like I just did. You don't want to damage the thread, so throw this nut on just the end and tap it, and once it's kind of freed loose, it will pull out decently easy. At least mine did. So now we should be able to get the strut out. Okay, I kind of struggle with this on the other side, so we'll see how this goes. You have to kind of push down on the lower control arm to give it some room to pull out. And the other side, there was an easier way to pry it. That's why I have this pry bar here, but there's not really anything here to pry against, so I'm not sure how I'll be doing this side. But obviously, we're going to want to lower this control arm down in order to get the strut out, which this is where I had so much trouble on the other side. Okay, I actually took off this. Up here, there is a bolt for the other brake line in the frame of the truck up here. I took that off because it was kind of putting some tension on the brake line. And I'm just trying to find a spot where I can pry this lower control arm down. See, this is where you kind of need a helper, someone to pry this for you while you can pull that out. I think I'm having trouble with this swing arm, or I keep saying swing arm, the sway bar. Okay, so the actual sway bar linkage here was seized to the lower control arm, and I could not get it free. So I loosened the other side and had to put pressure with the jack on the sway bar, and then had to smack it with a hammer multiple times, and finally it came free. Now I can lower this, push down this lower control arm, no problem, and I should be able to push down and lift this strut out of here. I say should because this thing is heavy. Okay. It's out there. Okay. Oh gosh. Fuck. These things weigh a shit ton. I'm sure they don't weigh near as much as some, but they weigh a lot. Okay, so here's a side-by-side. This is how much of a difference in length they are. I'm sure it's 2 inches. I don't even know. I don't care to even measure right now. I just want to get this thing on. As it's now been like 5 hours of me doing this. So, now we need to get this new strut in. You need to take the 4 strut bolts at the top off before you put it in, because obviously you can't put it in. And we're going to move on from here. This one does have a little rust on the bottom right there. I will say the stock one is a lot heavier duty looking. I mean, this shaft right here is pretty thick compared to this wimpy one. The welds on here aren't near as good. There's a gap, and the welds are a little better on here. I mean, I don't know anything about welds, but so we'll see how this holds up, because doing this again is gonna suck. Okay, so the new strut does have a thing on the top that says out, so facing out, and you're going to want to pop a couple of these nuts on as you're trying to shove it up in there. So here we go. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Make sure out is facing out. Grab a nut. Okay. At least one is threaded on. I'm not going to put them all the way down, because I want wiggle room. That's the one thing I noticed on the other side. You definitely want wiggle room. Now, this is the part here where you're going to want a pry bar for sure, and a helping hand, because you got to put a lot of weight down in order to get this strut over this to this lower control arm. So to show you what I mean here, I'm going to push down a little bit on this and show you. So you see, it has to go even lower in order to get to that spot. Try to have my wife come help me again. Push down on this. Oh, turn this knuckle. It's turning too much. I just don't weigh enough. I can't put enough pressure on it. So I'm actually sitting on this bar. Oh, it's so close. So I'm gonna have to have some extra weight to get this lower joint in here into the control arm. So I'll bring you guys back. Okay, I got help out here. I'm gonna sit on this and push it down, as you can see, to get this back over there. I'm gonna have my help here help me push down a little bit. Oh. Oh, okay. That's it. Okay. Thank you. Help. All right, guys. So it's in as an absolute pain in the asshole. Now, what I'm going to do, as you can see, it's not in line. What I did before, this strut's going to actually look a lot nicer because I don't have it all marred up from messing with it forever. I'm going to take a piece of wood and hammer it down so it moves this down a little bit. You see there? Like that. And then I'm going to put the remaining 2 bolts up top and screw them in and start tightening up the top mount up here. So these new strut bolts up top are actually 15 millimeter. And as you see, I don't know if you can see, there's a small gap between the top of the strut and the frame up here. So I'm just going to use these bolts to slowly tighten this and get it to the top. Now these back bolts suck because they're really hard and you can only do about like 1/10 of a thread at a time. So once they're tightened, I mean. But as long as I get one of these up here where it's pulling it down, I'm not sure which one of these would be better. Maybe this one would have the most range. Just pull this strut up some, and then you can see I could tighten all the rest of these. Now it's starting to get snug. I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to snug it up yet. I'm just going to hand tighten all the rest here, all the way down. Oh. Looks like this back one, oh no, it's down pretty far. See, this is the issue here. You don't have any room to spin this threads. That's okay. Pull this back one up some. There, it's starting to get snug. Make sure all these two are hand tight. Now, let's move on to the next step. Okay, this next step is to get this bolt into this lower strut. Now it looks like we need to pull down again, and so I'm going to have my helper here pull down the lower control arm so I can slide this bolt. I also grease the smooth part of the shaft of this bolt up because that's where it's going to be riding on this strut. So I'm going to have my helper here pry this lower control arm down, and hopefully this works to get this keep going, a little bit more. Oh, too much, hold on, too much. Let's see. So this looks like it's going to be an issue. So you don't want to put too much pressure on this thing. So we're going to have to hit it back down. Ouch. Probably more. Okay, I'm going to have my helper lift it up again, or push down. Keep wiggling like that. Keep going. Okay, a little bit more. Keep wiggling. Oh, damn. Okay. There's no way. Push down on it again. Oh, no. Pull back up. Okay, so this is going to be an issue, it looks like. What I may do is pop this back down again. like that. Have her go ahead, do that. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And I'm gonna try to stick something in here so it doesn't slip through. Okay, stop. Okay, I'm gonna have to have something smaller. You should be able to let go. Let go. Okay. Yeah, this may break this thing. Okay, go up a little higher. Wiggle. Oh, keep wiggling. Okay, stop. It's bending this screwdriver. Maybe this. A wiggle. Okay, stay there. Now, I'm prying it so that it's level there, so I could try to get this bolt in. Let off a little bit. Down a little. Okay, stay right there. Ow! Why is it not wanting to go? Is it to go that way? Oh, fuck. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to mess these threads up, but I just want to get this fucker in. Okay. Wiggle a little for me, helper. Just keep wiggling. Okay, that's it. It's over. It's done. Okay, guys. Now, scrape your hand on the brake caliper pad thing there. That sucked. But now you should be able to, hopefully the threads aren't too fucked up, but I should be able to just hammer this in. And you want to make sure you put the bolt in the same way that it came out, which obviously you want the smooth shaft through here on the strut. So, and we're not going to retighten this until both sides are back down, but we are going to put the bolt back onto the other side and kind of just get it hand tight. I'm going to tighten this up and then we'll move on to the next step. That lower bolt is in the strut. I'm going to go up here and tighten these top nuts. I don't know how tight to get them. I really don't. It doesn't give me any specs on this little sheet here, like it's 85 foot-pound. I literally have no idea. It doesn't tell me. So I'm just going to snug these suckers up really tight because they were not that tight to begin with. I'm just going to snug them up and move on to the next step. Okay, so next step, I need to get this knuckle connected to that upper control arm. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to put a jack underneath the lower control arm down here and jack it up some and then try to squeeze that upper control arm down and connect it with this nut. Now, this part sucks if you are doing it by yourself, so I'd advise getting a helper when or if you can. This is kind of a two-person job. So as you can see, the knuckle is slowly getting closer to this. I just have to keep jacking it up and compressing the new strut, which takes a minute, and especially by yourself. Need to go up any more? Kind of. It needs to go up more though. Yeah. And see, part of the problem is with both sides of the truck jacked up, I am fighting the jacks and having to jack this side up until the strut on the other side is somewhat compressed. So I have to keep jacking until that side is compressed and this upper control arm and knuckle are closer together. So let's keep going. So we should be getting close because this truck is jacked way up. Oh yeah. Now's when you need your helper. It's a lot more even. Okay. Ready? Oh, what the fuck? There. Okay. Oh. All right, it's on. Now we just have to screw this in to tighten this up and then put the cotter latch pin thing on there. But actually, I'm probably going to do that now before I lower the truck back down off this jack, because it is actually off both jack stands right now and is only being held up by this jack, which I don't particularly like. So let's screw this all the way down. The 19 millimeter. I don't know the torque specs for any of this. I probably should, but we're just gonna go with it. Need to go a little bit more so I can put that cotter pin through. Okay, I should be able to fit this cotter pin latch thing through like this. And it just clips in like that. So now I should be able to lower this truck back down on the jacks, and we'll see how it goes. So let's see, back this up pretty far. Okay, we gotta go real slow. Hopefully the jacks didn't move. Okay, it is all the way off this jack. It is all the way down. That upper control arm is low, low, low. But the tire's not on, and it's on jack stands. Now we're gonna put all these brake lines that we took off back on. There should be 3. I took one off over here on the frame, one on the upper control arm, and one on the knuckle. And I'm gonna get all those back on, move on to the next step. Next, we're gonna put this tie rod castle nut back on and put a new cotter pin in. I would recommend getting some cotter pins. Maybe I'll have them linked down below. I also have this these struts linked down below from Amazon, and all these links actually help me, like they're affiliate links, so feel free to use them. It helps support the channel. Now we're gonna have to install the sway bar linkage. Just make sure it's kind of lined up there. I'm gonna take a jack and jack this up so I can try to slide this bolt on. Okay, it's starting to go through, so I'm actually going to try to help it line up here. And maybe I can get it in. Probably going to have to jack up the other side, but either way, you just need to get this bolt in, and if you took your other one out like I did, get the other one back in. So I'm gonna get those in real fast. Now, I wish I would have measured before, but I can already tell these wheels are kind of cambered out, which 1000% I'm gonna need an alignment. So anytime you mess with suspension stuff or you get new wheels and tires, you're gonna need an alignment. But the next step was to put the wheels on. I got both these sway bar bolts back in, and I took the truck off blocks, and now I'm going to take the chucks out, and I'm going to roll it backwards and kind of roll it forwards and let the suspension settle a little bit, and then we're going to go back underneath and tighten the strut bolt. That was the last step. Okay, I took the truck in and out. I literally just backed it up a couple times, pressed the brakes pretty hard. That way the suspension kind of bounced a little, backed up, came back in, and now I'm going to go ahead and go underneath here and tighten the bolt that's connecting the bottom of the strut. Now, I don't know foot-pounds, I'm not sure. I'm just going to freaking crank that sucker down. I don't want nothing coming loose. So I'm going to get that done, and then we're going to back it up out of here. I'm going to take it for a drive down the dirt road, and then park it and do some before and afters. But if you're doing this, obviously you need to do the other side. Now, I've done the other side already, like I've said, so just telling you, make sure you do both sides. So this is the first drive in this thing. I'm not sure how I'll be able to tell, if I'll be able to tell a difference in cushion stuff until I really drive it, and once I get it actually aligned. which right now it's obviously not, and it's kind of riding on the tires a little weird, which I'll have to get in alignment again once I get new wheels and tires, but that's way down the line. So just kind of hitting my dirt road here and just driving along the regular pavement here. I don't really feel any different height wise. It doesn't feel any different to me, so we'll have to see when we get out, and I'll go and park it where I parked it before, but I'll let you guys know. Okay guys, I think that's gonna be everything. Hopefully I threw some B-roll footage in there. Definitely gonna have to get in alignment. It felt okay driving down the road, so I'm not sure. Here's the gap there. I definitely can notice a difference. It looks more jacked up, and of course, the way the truck is angled in my yard, I don't really have a flat spot in my yard, so it does make it look a little more angled in the front, almost like it's leaned back in the back, but it shouldn't be. And I will be getting some rough country struts for the back. They're just, or shocks, I guess they are, because they're not springs and shocks together. But that should be it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Comments, whatever, you know the drill. I have members now, so if you guys want to help support me, you can join members for 99 cents a month. Other than that, guys, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you stuck around for all of it. Have a good one. Bye. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Oh, shit. Oh.